Congressman, you gave FBI Director Wray quite a grilling today. Are you satisfied with the answers that you elicited?
Well, I'll be satisfied when they release the application that was taken to the FISA court. I'm convinced that most likely Peter Strzok was the guy who helped assemble that application, took it to the FISA court, where the court granted, and that application was based on the dossier with all the garbage in it. But that dossier was used as a basis for getting warrants to spy on Americans associated with Donald Trump's campaign. So they can prove I'm wrong by releasing the application. I hope they do that.
And stunningly, we find out as a result of agents of the House Intelligence Committee's investigation, and not from the FBI itself, that Bruce Orr, a top member of the management team there at the FBI, he had contacts with Fusion GPS, including contacts with Christopher Steele, the former British spy who was involved in the construction of that discredited Trump dossier.
Yes, Lou, there are a couple fundamental questions here. Did the FBI pay Christopher Steele? I asked that of Attorney General Sessions 2 weeks ago. He wouldn't answer the question. Did they actually vet this dossier, look at this dossier, go through this, corroborate it, correct it, look at it, because it's been disproven. There's a bunch of lies, a bunch of, National Enquirer garbage and fake news in this thing. Did they actually check it out before they took it to the FISA court, which I'm convinced they do? Those are the sort of the fundamental questions, and all this can get cleared up if they release the application that they took to the court. And he said he couldn't do it. They're allowed to do that. They can give it to the Judiciary Committee, the committee with oversight of the Justice Department. They can do that. That clears up a lot of things. But I think they won't give it to us because they did pay Christopher Steele. I think they did use the dossier as the basis for the warrants to spy on Americans associated with President Trump's campaign.
Your charges put it straightforwardly that the FBI leadership is corrupt and acted in corrupt and unlawful manner to achieve a political purpose.
Well, I mean, think about Peter Strzok, the guy who was dismissed from Mueller's team that we learned this weekend. Here's the guy who had the Clinton investigation up, interviewed Abedin, interviewed Cheryl Mills, interviewed Secretary Clinton. He's the guy who took the exoneration statement, changed grossly negligent to extreme carelessness. Grossly negligent is a crime. He changed it. He interviewed Flynn. He ran the Russian investigation, and they kick him off for a few text messages because they're anti-Trump. There has to be more to this story, and I'm convinced it's the dossier is the key to this. He's the guy who took the dossier, I believe, or part of the team that took the dossier and took it to the FISA court. This dossier that was paid for by the Democrat National Committee, paid Christopher Steele, who paid Russians to put this false stuff together. He's the one, I think, who was working with others to put this together and take it to the court. That's what we need to know.
And where do we go from here? What's required now is evidence of that. And what I found it really interesting, Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, in not answering your questions, used the OIG as many of the Pauls in D.C., DIMS, do. He couldn't answer that question because it's under investigation by the Office of the Inspector General, just as many of the answers that you want can't be given you because the FBI is investigating. I mean, at every level, it's because somebody's investigating. It's pure nonsense.
Exactly. You can't hide behind the fact that there's some other investigation going on. And I appreciate what Horowitz is doing. He's a good Inspector General, and he's getting information that's important. But you can't say, oh, because he's doing that, we can't give you the information that we are rightfully entitled to, and the information that will answer the fundamental questions of this whole affair. That's what we're trying to get. So yeah, you can't hide behind that. And remember, Horowitz, the Inspector General, they can't prosecute anyone. They're just getting information.
Right.
They're just doing an investigation. The only one who can hold people truly accountable is the Justice Department. And all this points to one simple thing. This is why we need a second special counsel, which we called for months ago. But every time we learn more, it just reinforces the idea that we need that second special counsel.